Hey guys, lesson 4.5, estimate quotients using compatible numbers. Our essential question is, how can you use compatible numbers to estimate quotients? Alright, a horse's heartbeat beats 132 times in 3 minutes. About how many times does it beat in 1 minute? You can use compatible numbers to estimate quotients. Compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to compute mentally. Okay, so this is one of those vocab words. Okay, so you need to get your math notebook out, and when you find an example of a compatible number, please put that in your math notebook in your vocab. Alright, let's come over and answer these questions first over here. Will a horse's heart beat more or fewer than 132 times in 1 minute? Okay, what do you think here? Okay, it says 132 times in 3 minutes. So will a horse heart beat more or fewer than 132 in 1? Okay, so that one would be fewer. Okay. Then the bottom one. What operation will you use to solve this problem? Okay, so what are we going to do with those numbers? We are going to use division for a problem like this. Okay. Alright, and the reason we're using division, we probably should look at that. So, if a horse heart beats 132 times in 3 minutes, that means for every minute, you're divvying that out into groups of 3. Okay, so whenever you're putting something into groups, that means you're going to divide. So you have 132 divided by 3. So step 1. Find a number close to 132 that divides easily by 3. So this is where it's super important to know your facts. Okay, start with 3 times something as close as you can to 132. That's what it's saying. Okay, so let's go down and say down here. 12 divided by 3 is a basic fact, and we just learned in our last lesson that 120 divides easily by 3, because remember 3 times 4 was 12, and then we added another 0, so 3 times 40 would be 120. Then we have 15 divided by 3, that's a basic fact. 150 divides easily by 3, because we know 3 times 5 is 15. And then we add our 0 there, so 3 times 50 is 15. Okay, so we got to figure out which of those facts is closest to, gets us closer to the answer of 132. And that's where step 2 comes in, use place value. Okay, so we are choosing 120 because that is closer to 132. So 120 is how many tens? It's 12 tens. Okay, because we know that 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, so 12 tens divided by 3 equals 4 tens, also coming in and we're that 40. 4 times 10, or 4, yeah, times 10 is 40. So 120 divided by 3 is 40. Okay, so that would be so a horse's heartbeat beats about 40 times. Okay, notice how it says the word about in there. That's really important. We're not finding the exact, we're just finding about how much close can we get to 132. Okay, example 2. Use compatible numbers to find 2 estimates that the quotient is between. So we probably remember when we were finding estimates and we were finding the one that was above it, and then we rounded it one up and then we rounded it the same. That's kind of what we're going to get into here. Okay, so we have 1,382 divided by 5. So step 1, find 2 numbers close to 1,382 that is easily divided by 5. Okay, so that first one, blank divided by 5, is a basic fact. Okay, well the first basic fact that I can think of is 10 divided by 5, because then we know that 1,000 divides easily by 5, because 5 times what is 10? 2. Okay, so then we also have for the other one, what's 1,000 divided by 5? Okay, 200. So we just added 2 more zeros. And I'll write that down so we can kind of see it. So I'm going to put 5 times 200 equals 1,000. Okay, in the first one we had, remember, 5 times 2 was 10. Okay, so let's come down to this next one. Blank divided by 5 is a basic fact. Okay, 15 divided by 5 is a basic fact. So 1,500 divided easily by 5. So I'm just going to come over here and show we knew that 5 times 3 was 15. Okay, so if we're trying to make that 500, okay, so what do we got to add in here? So we could do 5 times 300, that would work. 5 times 300 is 1,500. So, just taking a look at those two numbers that I got here, right here and right here. So 1,382 is between 1,000 and 1,500. Okay, so remember, the problem was 1,382 divided by 5. So I used that 5. Okay, and I don't know, I used multiplication. I knew 5 times 200 was 1,000. Okay, so that's probably a good place to start. And then I went 5 times 300 was 1,500, so I know that this number has to be somewhere in between here to get to the right answer here. Okay, so on the bottom they want you to put 200 and 300 because 200 and 300 is what we took 5 times, the factor that we used in order to get to our multiples of 5 over here. Okay, so 200 and 300. So the answer's got to be somewhere in there. 5 times something big is going to get us to this number here. Okay, step 2, divide each number by 5. Use place value. Okay, so this is kind of what I was doing earlier. So we have 10 hundreds, okay, also known as 1,000, divided by 5 equals 2 hundreds or 200. Okay, then blank hundreds divided by 5, we chose to do 15 hundreds divided by 5. Okay, 5 times 3 is 15, so we have 3 hundreds, or also known as 300. Okay, so possible answer for that, it's got to be between 200 and 300. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Alright, estimate 1,718 divided by 4. Okay, so first of all, we're trying to think of 4 times what and can maybe get us to close to 1,000, or 4, just use your multiplication. 4 times 4 is 16. So if I take maybe like 4 times, here I'll write that out so you guys can see. So if I just went 4 times 4 equals 16, okay, obviously we need to go way more, so let's start adding some 10s in there. Okay, so 4 times 4 is 16, add a 0, we still got a long ways to go. What if I went 40 times 40? Okay, I went and got 4 times 4 is 16. Add my 2 zeros, there we go. Okay, so this number looks a lot closer. Where can I put this for now? Okay, this number looks a lot closer to this number right here. Okay, so I'm going to put 1,600 is close to 1,718, so I know I'm close in the ballpark with 40 times 40. Okay, so now I'm going to try 40 times 50. Okay, so I'm going to go up more. 4 times 5 is 20. Then add my 2 zeros, 2,000. Okay, so I don't want to go any higher than that because look at my number, 1,718. Okay, I don't want to go, obviously that's smaller than 2,000, but I don't need to go any higher. So I know my answer is going to be between 2,000 and 1,600. Okay, I'm going to move this over here so it's out of the way. You can write it wherever you want. Okay, so let's just keep going. So which number am I going to choose? Okay, choose 1,600 because it is closer to 1,718. Okay, so let's come back over here. What basic fact can you use? Okay, so coming back over here, I used 16 divided by 4. Oops, there you go, 16 divided by 4, and if I use my other one, I did 20 right here. Okay, so 20 divided by 4. Those are the basic facts that I started out with. I knew that 4 times 4 was 16, and I knew that 4 times 5 was 20. Okay, so 16 divided by 4 is 4. 1,600 divided by 4 is 400. Okay, so 1,718 divided by 4 is about 400. Okay, so I mean, I like to use multiplication, but you can use however or whatever you want with that. Alright, so we're going to do a couple here. Use compatible numbers to estimate the quotient. Okay, for this first one, okay, I'm just trying to think 9 times what is as close as I can to 455. So, and remember, we're just estimating. We're not trying to find the exact answer. So I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to go 9 times 5 gets me to 45. So what would happen if I added a 0, oops, added a 0 here, and then add a 0 on my end? Okay, awesome, I got pretty darn close, didn't I? Okay, so my answer for this then, so 455 divided by 9 would be the same as 90 divided by, or 50, sorry, 50 divided by 9. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put 50 on the line there, because 50 times 9 is 450. Okay, coming over to this one, I know that 3 times 5 is going to get me to 15. Okay, now I notice that my number here is 1,509, so I'm just going to come over here. Okay, and I'm going to add a couple zeros on there. Then I can add a couple zeros onto my answer. Okay, so now I'm at 1,500. That's pretty close. So my answer here would be 500. Okay, try number 4 and 5 by yourself. See how you do. Pause the video and then check your answer. Alright, so for this one, 8 times what? Well, let's see, as close as I can to 176, so I would go 8 times 2, as close as I can get to like 17, I guess is what I'm looking at. So I get 16. If I add a 0 onto there, I add a 0 onto my answer, now I'm at 160. I believe that's as close as I'm going to get, so my answer for this one would be 20. Okay, so this one's 7 times what can get me to 27. Well, I know 7 times 4 is a good close one. Okay, because that's 28. And then if I add a 0 here, I can add a 0 here. Now I'm at I'm at 2,795, so let's add another 0. Then I can add another 0 onto here. Okay, because remember, with each 0 I add, I'm just taking it times 10 another time. Okay, so my answer for this one would be 400. Okay? Alright, so this one down here, they want you to use compatible numbers to find two estimates that the quotient is between. So just like what we did up here, and I'm going to do a couple, or do some of there, because I think there's some on your homework. Yeah, there's some on your homework, so we better do some of these ones. Okay, so starting with number 6. So we're trying to find two things that it's close to. Okay, so I'm going to start with, hopefully you can still see this, 6 times what can get me as close as I can to like 53. 6 times 8 is 48, so 6 times, yeah, let's do that. Let's do 6 times 8 is 48. That's going to be close. 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, so I'm dealing with the thousands, so I'm going to come over here and add my 2 zeros. So 8 times 800 would be 4,800. Okay, so I think that's pretty close. So now let's go one up. So let's go 6 times 9, which is 54. Ooh, that's really close. Okay, so I'll come over here, add my 2 zeros. Come over here, add my 2 zeros. Okay, so my answer has to be between 800 and 900. So on the lines here, once you write 800, 900. Okay. Man, it's really important that you know your facts for this lesson. It will help you out so much. Okay, 6 times what, as close as I can to 17. 6 times, let's see, 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, so I'm going to do that one. So 6 times 3 is 18. Oops. Okay, then I'm going to add my 0. 6 times 30. Now I'm going to get to, not enough, so I need to go 6 times 300 because I'm in thousands. Then I can add my 2 zeros there. Okay, then what's another 6 times what else is close? So I guess because 6 times 4 is 24. So I'm going to go back down. So 6 times 2, okay, is 12. Okay, add 2 zeros here. Take it times 10, take it times 10. Okay, so 1,200. Okay, so I would say that that number is between these two. So my answers would be 300 and 200. Okay? Alright, I'll do one more. 3 times what is close as I can to 11? Well, I know that 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, and since we're dealing with the thousands. Okay. Then my next one, 3 times, let's see, 3 times 5 is 15. That's too much. That's too far. So let's try 3 times 3. Okay, and that's 9. Okay, add my 2 zeros here. So it would be 900. So my answer for this one would be 400 and 300. Okay? Alright, so you can finish the next one if you would like to, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what you have for your homework. Okay. Alright, so let's see, I want you to do 5 through 8. And do 9 through 12. Okay, all the way through. Oops. And then I want you to do, let's have you do number 13. Okay, and then come back and we'll do one side. Alright. That's all I got for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, go back and rewatch the video. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks.